I think all motorcyclists have their demons that cause anxiety and fear. But as an older rider, I found that as we age, sometimes we have to wage battles against old foes that we thought we'd defeated in the past, only to realize that these demons are of our own design. They live only in our minds. I don't know what it is about getting older that causes us to withdraw into ourselves and seek comfort and familiarity in all aspects of our daily lives. But I do know that from time to time, we have to look ourselves in the mirror and ask, are you going to give up, give in, and take it easy? Or are you still in the game? Like all riders, I've had close calls over the years, but two in particular have been so harrowing that it has changed my entire strategy when it comes to traveling long distance. And both of those instances happened in nearly the same spot along a stretch of interstate that has become my nemesis. In the past, I have avoided traveling through this area if I was on a motorcycle by riding around it on smaller but longer roads. This time was going to be different. I felt I needed to regain something that had been taken from me. This time, I was not going to avoid the Leviathan that is Atlanta. I would cut straight through it. So of course, I started this trip in the dark with a light rain that seemed to stop as soon as the sun began to rise. Hey, maybe that's a good omen. Like taking your first plunge into cool water, all your anticipation seems to vanish once you get out on the road and start knocking down miles. The first leg of this trip would begin by riding south from Oviedo, then west through Orlando before heading north on Florida's Turnpike and eventually linking up on I-75. So right now, I've been on the road for about 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm in Micanopy, Florida, which is famous. They filmed Doc Hollywood here. As much as I would like to have hung around in a sleepy little Florida town, I knew I had to get a leg on because the last 100 miles of this trip would be the toughest. It's 11:19, 358 miles. I'm stopping for lunch. If I could travel back in time and speak to the younger me, I think the one thing I would try to emphasize above all else is how important it is to constantly challenge oneself. Life without anxiety, change, or difficulty is pointless, because without that, there is no growth. The irony of this is that I learned those lessons in abstract ways, but never made the connections to how our lives are similar to the things that interest us. In music and art, I was taught that there are no highs without lows, and there is no light without shade. Here, 2 years after the darkest period in my life, I feel a sense of renewal, but I know that this is not permanent. I've often said I spent the first 28 years of my life trying to leave where I grew up in Tennessee, but I've spent the last 33 years trying to get back. The purpose of this trip is a continuation of a journey I am not ready to have end.
This is the point I hate the most. We're going to get back on 75. We're going to do a bypass of Macon and then 75 straight through Atlanta. This time of day, it shouldn't be too bad. And by too bad, it's going to be really bad, but not as bad as I've seen it.
Once I was north of Macon, there would only be one stop left to get fuel for the final 100-mile leg to my destination. Oh, and I should probably mention, it is this stretch of interstate between here and Atlanta that has been my nemesis.
I love your bike. Thank you. How much was it? Too much. Yeah.
I am not superstitious. I don't believe in ghosts or fairy tales. So I don't know how I let two random incidents that happened in nearly the same place 5 years apart get into my psyche. But it has. Maybe it's just knowing what could have happened that causes me to avoid even thinking about it. But therein lies the rub. I do think about it. This stretch of highway stands between me and family and friends and places I want to go. So every time I want to, I have to go out of my way not thinking about it. So I felt it was time to face myself in the mirror and answer yes. I am still here. I am in the game. Some people think motorcyclists have some sort of death wish, especially if they ride on the interstate. But now more than ever, I have a life wish. This is not throwing caution to the wind or relying on blind luck. This is a mental and physical exercise that I need just as surely as food or water. Our comfort zone is not a protective shield against danger. It is a shrinking prison whose walls we must constantly knock down, for life truly begins just on the other side. Well, I did say that I would love to hang out in a sleepy little town, and even though this one's in Georgia, I kinda like it. So 515 miles in just over 9 hours, I overcame a mental roadblock. I am with family in a great location with perfect weather, and the 4th of July is just a few days away. That sounds like a good trip. If the ride is the destination, then I gotta say that this ride was one of the most memorable destinations I could have hoped for. Not for what I saw or for what I did, but for what it gave me back. Confidence is a perishable commodity, and not one us older motorcyclists can do without. And all we gotta do is go get it.
I saw the Florida tag, and I said,
Oh, that was you behind me?
yeah.
Well, the thing was, when I turned, by that old, that's where we stopped and then we went in. I'm not sure where Copperdawg is, and at first you were behind me, and I thought, I don't want you behind me when I'm like creeping around that corner looking for that Copperdawg.
Yeah, I can't run 70 through that hill.
Oh, this